guys, I'm back. I guess it's time for another truth video. And sorry for all the background noises. I think my roommate's waking up for one thing, but also my cat is being very, very noisy, per usual. And I kind of just woke up. Haven't had my coffee yet either, so anyway, today's video is going to be about what really happened when I moved, because last video was why I moved and the truth of why I decided to move, and this is what really happened when I moved. So of course I had all the expectations that things were going to be so much better and life was just going to get easier and better and brighter, and turned out to be kind of the opposite. So the first thing is my boyfriend that I moved in with at the time turned out to be a total tool. I was under the impression that he was somebody that he wasn't. He pretended to be somebody he wasn't. So I was completely under the impression that he was this mature, grown-up, nice, I guess responsible, active. So if I'm looking everywhere, I'm trying to remember everything. Basically, he played himself up to be everything that he wasn't. So when I did move here, patient, tolerant, understanding, yeah, all those things he pretended to be and he really wasn't. So when I first came here, I realized pretty quickly the kind of person he was, and it was very scary because the first thought that came to my head was, if this is who he really is, I'm stuck living with him because I had no money, I had no other place to go, and it got very scary really quickly that this person that I chose to live with and be in a relationship with was the complete opposite of what he made himself out to be. It's safe to say it didn't take long for me to break up with him, because he turned out to be pretty emotionally abusive. He called me a lot of names, said a ton of very derogatory sexual comments behind my back. I'm not gonna go into what he said because it still kind of irks me that he said those things about me, but they were very derogatory, very downgrading, very sexual comments that he made about me to somebody else behind my back. And the way he talked about me to his friends made it seem like I was just his property and that he could get whatever he wanted from me anytime he wanted to, which was totally not the case. So there's a lot of emotional abuse, and then after I broke up with him, I fell in love with this other guy. Like, actually legitimately fell in love with this other guy. And my ex didn't like that, so he proceeded to destroy my life little by little while I was here. And I thought it was bad enough the stuff he was doing that I knew about, but there was this whole slew of stuff that he did behind my back that I had no idea about until later. But I'll get into that later. So I ended up falling for this other guy. For his privacy, he doesn't want me to say his name or anything like that, but I fell for this other guy. Handsome, had his life together, knew what he wanted to do, loved me like I've never been loved by another guy before. And things, although there was bullshit going on with my ex and where I was, I'm living in the same place I was living in when all the bullshit was happening, so I guess the place I'm living in, he was always there for me, and everything was great, and I loved him to death. So the good thing was is that I did meet this guy, because if I hadn't, and I hadn't been able to stay as happy and distracted as I was, things would have been a lot worse for me when it came to my ex and how emotionally and mentally abusive he was being, and how he was slowly tearing apart my life, both in my face and behind my back. Then there were job problems and money problems. there was a original agreement with my ex that I moved in with at the time that he would give me time to find a job and that he would help support me till I found a job. And that didn't go as well as he promised, because once I broke up with him, it seemed like all bets were off, and he wanted me to pay bills right away, and he wanted me to support myself right away when I had no money and I didn't have a job. So it took a scary turn, and it wasn't easy, but I job hopped a lot, or it seems like a lot. I've only had 5 jobs so far. I mean, it's kind of a lot, but yeah, I job hopped a lot, and it wasn't exactly my choice. The first job that I did get was just a temporary summer job, but it got him to shut up for a while because I was paying my half of the bills and I was buying my own food. And then the second job I had just didn't last long because it was too physically straining on me. I mean, happy birthday to me. I'm 20 years old, but I'm in horrible physical condition, and not as in like overweight. I mean, even though I am overweight, it's more bone problems and muscle problems and nerve damage. So the job that I did have is very physically straining, and eventually I couldn't keep up with it, so they fired me. I was gonna quit anyway because they had me down to just working weekends, which wasn't cool. Let's see. And then I ended up getting a job at McDonald's, which was great. I had the job for like 7 months and whatnot, but yeah, I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself. Job problems and money problems. I was job hopping, so it wasn't easy to keep a consistent flow of cash coming in. And it didn't help that I didn't have any experience whatsoever. So I was literally just filling out applications like nobody's business and hoping for the best. The next thing on the list was I was feeling out of place. It got to a point living here where I felt like I did not belong here, that I was just trapped here, that I was never going to be happy here, that my life just felt so out of place and I felt lost. And it wasn't a good feeling. It really wasn't. I felt like it just wasn't working, but I do feel differently now. Then there were relationship problems with this new guy, and we broke up. Well, he broke up with me once in December, which completely tore me apart, and it was horrible because we did so many things together. I shared so many things with him, and then it was just over. And it was really scary, and it was really upsetting, and it just really, really sucked. And then we ended up going back out again like a week or two later. And then things seemed fine until the New Year's. And that's the last thing on this list was New Year's bullshit. Because on New Year's, my roommate decided to pick, not the guy that I was going out with, but my ex, who was my roommate at the time, decided to pick the worst time to fight with me and pick the worst fight with me that he ever did in his life. And I found out that for the last 9 months that I was living there, or living here, that he had been going behind my back to a private group on Facebook, talking so much trash about me, and basically destroying my reputation with these people that I thought were my friends, that I was super close with. And it didn't seem to matter what I said. They just didn't believe me because for 9 months straight he was reporting every single thing I did and completely making stuff up at the same time about what I was doing with this other guy, what I was doing with my life, and frankly, none of it was his business to begin with. And he never said any of the stuff he was doing to me. He never admitted all of the horrible things he was saying and doing to me. He only mentioned the stuff that happened or that I did to him because of what he did to me. And I never physically did anything to him, but I would yell at him and call him out on his bullshit and whatever. And it made it look like when I was calling him out on his bullshit and him treating me like shit, that it made it look like I was just being a bitch, basically. And he destroyed my reputation with these people. Like, I think it was 20, 30 people that I really, really cared about and that were my friends. He went behind my back for 9 months and just destroyed everything for me, and it did not matter what I said or what I did. Nobody believed me. So I ended up losing a whole family of people in just one night because he was too resentful, too arrogant, and too much of a guy to just let it go. And all of this had to do with because I broke up with him. Like, legitimately, all of the stuff that he did and said to me and made me lose all those friends for were just because I broke up with him. But I broke up with him because he was a tool, and all he was doing was making sexual remarks at me and saying that I was heartless and that I didn't care about anybody and that I was lazy and all this other stuff. So, yeah, that's basically, I just summed up from, I'd say, May 9th to January 1st of 2014 of what really happened when I moved here. The person I thought I was going out with and thought I was moving in with turned out to be a total fake and turned out to be the exact opposite of what he said he was. He emotionally abused me, mentally abused me, and made me feel like I was worthless. I ended up falling for another guy, which was absolutely fantastic, and things seemed really good for a while. He was really good for me for a while. Then there was job problems and money problems with me not being paid enough, not getting enough hours, or I just couldn't find a job because I had no resume, basically. And then it went to me feeling out of place between all the emotional abuse from my ex-roommate, ex-boyfriend, and just not having any friends and nobody to turn to and nowhere to go. Then the relationship problems that happened with me and this guy, where he broke up with me in December, absolutely broke my heart. And then we ended up going out again, but things were still shaky and unstable, and we did fight a lot. And then the New Year's bullshit with my ex-roommate basically ruining my life and taking so many people I cared about away from me, and my reputation is still trashed with those people to this day because of all the lies and all the bullshit that he spewed out of his mouth on that night. And he told me straight up that he only did it because he was being resentful. But he wouldn't say that to any of them. But he told me to my face that the only reason he was doing that was to be resentful and because he was mad at me. So from May 9th to January 1st, I basically covered everything that happened. It was mostly, I'm not going to lie, it was mostly bad stuff, mostly really hard times, mostly really scary times, and only some good things happened last year. So that's it for now. I will see you guys in the next video for more truths and more things that happened this year, starting January 1st to probably a few months ago, I think. Let me check. So like I said, I have everything written down in my journal. Yeah, so it'd probably be from January 1st to around June. That I'll cover in the next video. So I hope this explains some things, and I'm sorry if I sound like crap and I sound just really out of it and tired. I woke up like an hour ago and I haven't had my coffee yet, so not to mention it's a very cloudy, well, maybe that's a better accurate depiction. It's a very cloudy, cold, and disgusting day. But I realize this video is going on 15 minutes, so I'm just gonna stop here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.